Springs, there's this Ivywild school, which used to be an elementary school, and I remember when it was an elementary school. Our district went through some restructuring, they closed down some schools, and then this was turned into this really good place with bars and shops and restaurants and coffee shops. The principal's office serves coffee as well as they have lights and stuff. Paper chains on the walls, like kids' art projects. What's that? A telephone booth. We have the original school's bathrooms. Like some sort of contest. Here we got the Bristol pub down in this end. Very cool. There's an old piano. You in trouble? There's the principal's office. So we got empanadas down that hall. The principal's office has a lot of different choices. There's a Ivywild kitchen, and there's a pizza place. And check out this brand new store. There's a lot of things here made locally, which is really, really cool, including card games and unusual blocks and stocking stuffer kind of stuff. Look at this hand-felted Ravenmobile. So cool. Little gnome, the little hand-felted things, and some original art t-shirts and handcrafted chocolates, hot chocolates. This is amazing. Nice homemade country embroidery.
years. Girls' bathroom. We have kids' artwork tiles.
This might have been his house. He made these churning metal sculptures that churn with the winds. December 31st, last day of the year. We have a lot of very cool trails in Colorado Springs. It's actually, I saw one list saying it was one of the top cities for hiking. So all the different trail options we have. So come with me as we are in the, I think it's called North Canyon, Cheyenne North Canyon Regional Trail. So I wanted to give you an update on my writing life. Anybody who's been following me, if you see my other videos, you will learn how I finished my debut novel and then I got an agent, and it was kind of amazing how it happened. But then she pitched my novel for a year, and we got all rejections from the major publishers that she had submitted to. And so then she dropped me after a year, and suddenly I had no agent. And I did some research and learned that that is the worst possible situation to be in, because people are saying no agent's gonna pick you up again now because they've already tried pitching your book and nobody bought it, you know? And so I spent a year kind of trying to figure out what to do, learning all about self-publishing and different things. But I've always had just this innate sense that my novel is gonna be traditionally published. Anyway, as I mentioned earlier this year, I got an interesting ghostwriting job. I got an interesting ghostwriting job working for a company who offers various services to writers, and they're located in England. And I had a kind of sense, or wondering if this connection with this company could prove to be fruitful. Well, this year, 2021, in the fall, I got an inspiration to actually reach out to the owner of the company and just ask him if he would consider being my agent, because he has a lot of connections in the publishing industry, especially over in England, and my novel is set in London. So I did that. I kind of just reached out to him and asked him if he would consider representing me as my agent. And it turns out he actually, besides his 3 businesses, he is an agent for several authors, and I had no idea that he even does that too. I'd been working for him as a ghostwriter, so he knew of my ability. So he submitted my novel to his whole process, where he goes through his beta reader team, and all of them recommended that he take the time to read it. And he said it was very rare that happens, that they all approve of a book like that. So then he knew it was worth his time to actually read it too, and so he read it. And then in October we were having a meeting about the ghostwriting, and he let me know he wanted to be... Sorry for the interruption, some of my videos got corrupted. But anyway, yes, he said he would be my agent. And this was huge news to have an agent again. So I'm just so excited. He's got connections and he's been in the business a long time. And this is going to be great. And then we got COVID. So anyway, we had been pretty careful over lockdown not to get COVID, and it was just devastating to then find ourselves sick with it. It was the Delta variant. Worst thing was that we lost, all 3 of us in our household were sick, my husband and me and our eldest daughter. We lost our sense of taste and smell on the 5th day, and we were all vaccinated, so overall it was mild, but it was still pretty miserable. We did not like it at all. You can see the creek down there. Hear the water running. It's really beautiful with the ice. This is the last day of the year, 2020. Root system. So we lost our taste and smell right before Thanksgiving, and then ended up having to cancel our Thanksgiving plans because we were going to get together at my brother's house, and then they got COVID through their whole family right after we did, and they were still in lockdown going into Thanksgiving. And losing the taste and smell was the most devastating to me. But because we were vaccinated and everything, it started coming back within a couple of days, very slowly and gradually, and so that was good. So I felt much better, and I think I have it just about all back now. I lost it right before Thanksgiving. It was very weird to not be able to taste and smell things. Very strange. It made eating no fun, pretty much. And I had a couple days where I had a strange metallic taste in my mouth and things tasted weird. This is so pretty. So yeah, we were laid low for a bit. Definitely dealt with some exhaustion, a little bit of brain fog. I kind of dropped the ball on some things that were work related, and didn't even realize I had a little bit of brain fog until it cleared up several weeks later, and then all of a sudden I started remembering things, you know. So thank goodness it was the mild form because we were all vaccinated. I had not yet gotten my booster, but after that we did. Oh, and that's the other thing, is barely 2 weeks after I had COVID, I had my booster, and then having the booster shot was like having another round of slightly milder COVID, but I had the same symptoms of restlessness and an underlying achiness. It wasn't obvious that it was achiness, but it was like I kept waking up at 2 a.m, not able to sleep. And this was a COVID thing. And after the booster, I had that same thing. It was like I couldn't settle down and I couldn't focus, and I was restless and kept waking up at 2 a.m. and couldn't rest. It was very weird. So I had another week where I was basically completely out of it after having the booster because I had it too soon, right after having COVID. Can You see the rock formations up there? Surrounded by the mountains here. I'm right in among the rocks. So, end of November and December were kind of a wash as far as not having much energy, being a little out of it, getting over being sick, not being able to believe that how careful we had been. We had actually gotten COVID, and of course we were vaccinated, so we were starting to be less careful and going to more social events, and of course that's when we got it. But that's after we had spent months going to more social events and were pretty careful and never got it. So it was interesting to go through that kind of frustration. Isn't this beautiful? So that's where we're at. Today's the last day of 2021. Sometime probably next week or the week after, my agent and I are gonna meet and come up with our strategy for pitching my novel. And Omicron is spreading all over the country like crazy, the new variant of COVID. And we all can't believe that we're getting ready to enter our third year of the pandemic. No one expected this. But we will see what the new year holds. I think 2022 will hopefully finally see us getting mastery over the pandemic in general. I'm in a deep valley here. There's rock walls up above me. Look at this rock. It's like this neon green chartreuse screen up there. It's really wild. I love that color on the rock face. Just a little shallow cave type thing. Looks like people have had fires in here. Huh. So in the city it's sunny out, probably 42 degrees, and 43 in the sun in Colorado feels like 48 or something. But now that I'm walking into these shadowed valleys in the mountains, it's getting colder and colder here. You can feel cold pockets as you walk into them.